So, ladies and gentlemen, we know that Ted and Wilma, Fred and Velma, Ted and Janis, we got it all. We got the Flintstones. Oh yeah, it's open mic. This is not a tribute and an homage to St. Ted. We know that the CARLSONs are pillars of the community. We know that Ted is the best boss in the world, and Janis is the best wife in the world, and the kids are the best kids in the world. So you don't get to talk if it's St. Ted tribute.
We can all see that Ted, compared to others, is not very tall. Mind you, he's down from being punchy, and now is actually quite small. You notice that he's not as tall as his brother, but he proclaims, "I'm still taller than my mother." My wife ponders and says, "How could that be?" Ted responds, "Mother, don't worry about me. When I'm at the quarry, I just act like I'm 6'3".
We immediately took a liking for each other. To his liking, he found me colorful. To my liking, I found him stone-faced. I understand he's a very consistent player and never scores less than a triple bogey on each of the 18 holes. Ted may deny this, but I've been visiting the Northview Club last few days, and the locker room talk is that Ted has rigged the Sumas Mountain to make a settlement area for Donald Trump.
I don't recall exactly the first time I met Ted, but I think George Ferguson was involved. And I had the privilege of working with Big George. I was Little George. And I said to Big George, "Who is this guy?" He said, "Oh, that's Ted CARLSON. He's got a mind like concrete." I said, "Is that right? He's that tough?" He said, No, it's mixed up and permanently set." And our relationship went downhill from there. You are a saint, because anybody married to this man, bear him all those children. My God, we should name a park in honor of you, Janis.
Of course, Ted is exceptional, as all of us know. Whatever the subject, his expertise, he will show. Any question you ask will be answered with ease. We just know he's right. For Ted, it's a breeze. An example or two will show just how true his omniscient knowledge will always show through. How much rain falls on Windward Maui each year? He'll respond in inches or centimeters to whoever is near. He will also break it down into monthly portions and explain how igneous rocks have received their contortions from the stress of the rains and volcanic action that makes the black sandy beaches such an amazing attraction. From the Horizons restaurant on a Burnaby Hill, one can view all of Vancouver and experience a thrill. If you ask Ted to point out landmarks in view, the world just might need an adjustment or two, since Metrotown is now where you'll find Canada Place. We're sure that Ted will accept your correction with grace. When a car alarm sounds in the middle of the night, when you and your family are sleeping so tight, you have to jump up and run outside to see just what in the world the problem might be. The lights coming on in motel rooms around catch the oceanside streaker without even a gown. His smile is contagious, like a bad case of flu. So be careful if you find him smiling at you. It's not an empty smile, like some others may say, but one full of pride, or humility, or maybe just make my day. As time will go by, Ted's plan will evolve. Man's biggest problems, we are sure he will solve, whether it's severe climate change or to bring in world peace. Ted knows there's an answer and problems will cease. Ted just knows.
Okay, the first thing about Ted that everybody knows, he'll want you to come and see something with him. So he says, tomorrow, come up to the quarry and I'll meet with you when you get there. First thing that means is you get there and you wait. And you wait. And you wait. And then he'll come up, okay, now we'll go do something. As everybody knows with Ted, he goes to any operation, he drives in and he treats it like its own. He will look at anything he wants when he wants. And we did that. So 11 o'clock that night when we left and drove home, all the way home I had to keep talking to him. Ted is not good at staying up late and driving. It was quite nerve-wracking after he dropped me off, picked up my truck from Abbotsford home to keep calling him on the radio that you're out of the lane again, you're out of the lane again. Yeah, you know, yeah, I know. Consistency again, consistency again.
I know, I got a lot of flack for making some mistakes with machinery. I know, happened to put one in a river and a few things like that. I had my times, and everyone remembers those for some reason, but a lot of people don't remember Ted's mishaps. He started a screening plant on fire one time, number 8 road, I remember that. And your truck actually, I saw your truck on fire. That was interesting. Ted's little mishaps seemed to always go, they got covered up, or people didn't talk about them, or not enough people saw them or heard about them. But they were there, believe me, they were there. Ted's the only hockey player that's ever gone 10 years without scoring a goal. I think in his 11th season he scored a goal. 1. Brian, you had more goals than Ted. And he only played a half a dozen games. Well, that happened too. He didn't always get the right net.
But I'm a little bit surprised and shocked that we're only here today now celebrating Ted's retirement, because ultimately I got hired in 1994, and I quite frankly can only probably count on one hand how many times I actually saw Ted in the first number of years of my employment there. And Brent and I had to work close together, and we were, of course, the dynamic sales team, and we kept Ted gainfully employed. So what I got to understand in my work and effort was that, you know, Laurie was there. I clearly understood what Laurie was doing. He was the boss, and he was, you know, looking after the books and doing different things. Terry was doing her job of invoicing at that time and collecting the money, and Brent and I had a very clear job role and title of sales and like I said, making the money. And Ted, you know, there was hints, like, you know, I would show up one morning on my desk and there would be a note there. So there was evidence of Ted being around in the early days, but ultimately I never really did get to see him. You know, they had the office built in Port Kells, and the office was built and all the different offices were there, and Laurie was proud to take us there from time to time and show us. And, you know, everybody had an office, and there was even an office that was set aside for this Ted fellow. And again, I didn't understand the logic behind that or the waste of real estate. But, and I'll have to say, because of my last name, of course, I came into the business, and the Carlsons had been in business for still a number of years at that time, and there was different customers that I would call upon, and they would like, oh, Carlson, and which one are you? And of course, I got tired of at some time explaining that I wasn't related, so then I just went along with it. And I became Ted's cousin, and sometimes his brother, cousin brother, sometimes I was Ted. And in fact, no. But there was a couple times I didn't want to be Ted. Congratulations, but this is a little bit, I don't understand how this is coming to be. But yeah, congratulations, and keep doing whatever you're doing because it's working for you.
So, funny enough, Rob said, you know, he never knew when Ted was coming into work, and he didn't know if he was retired. And honestly, I've been working with him for 15 years. I thought he retired 15 years ago. Where are you, Ted? Palm Springs. Where are you, Ted? Scotland. Where are you, Ted? Hawaii. Where are you, Ted? Out on the boat. Where are you, Ted? I'm not telling you.
Because we've always mixed business with family and family with business, and because each of us 6 kids have all had the opportunity to work for you, we thought maybe you'd like the chance to come and work for some of us. It's hard for any of us to imagine you not working. So within our very own union, we have some positions we thought you might find perfect for you. Melanie has an opening for a hairstylist, a makeup artist for the girls and their dance competitions. Both Serge and Jeff are looking to hire a landscaper/lawn care professional. Tony and Candace can always use a hand shuttling their kids to any number of sports games and many practices. Myself, I have 3 boys. Any help there? I'll take it. You're hired. Michaela and David have a busy life with a toddler and can benefit from a regular babysitter. Haley, if you know her, not a morning girl. She hates having to get out of bed to make her own coffee. She's in need of a morning barista. And last but not least, Mackenzie and Wade are accepting applications for their wedding planner. So, Dad, if any of these positions sound like a good fit for you, please get your resume in order and apply to appropriate child. We've never heard you complain, no matter how early the mornings, how long the days, or late the nights. If there was work to be done, you just did it. An amazing example you set for our whole family. We love you, we thank you, and we wish you and Mom every adventure, joy, and happiness in this retired stage of life.
Well, so after Ted blew things up, started them on fire, sent them adrift, and they wouldn't let him touch the equipment anymore at the quarry, and rightly so. So he showed up to volunteer at the church. And, you know, I've built a few churches, and Ted is the first stoner I had on my team. So we review safety rules, and we said, you know, it's a volunteer project, but we want to make sure things are done safely. And then I get a report that there's a safety violation, and I go outside. The excavator is full height. There are 2 people in the bucket, our lead pastor and my youngest son, and Ted is spinning as fast as the excavator will go. I said, Ted, what was that? Oh, he said, it's a time-honored tradition. Okay.
Picture the evening campfire, and we're all sitting around and we're telling stories, and you know how it goes. How did you pick your kids' names? We're going around and we all talking, and Janis says, it's really not fair. You guys all had the chance to pick your kids' names together. But Ted wanted to pick the first couple kids' names himself. So he did. She says, Ted, well, how did you come up with those names? And Ted says, well, it was after my ex-girlfriend. So if you know Janis, she has a little feisty spirit to her. She turned around, she took her fist, and playfully was just going to pretend to hit him. She connected. And Ted went around the campground for the next week with the biggest black shiner that you ever did see.
Quite a few years back, Finning Tractor took a few customers on a fishing trip. Well, we went fishing and very nice dinner, and got to go to the rooms, and I got to pick a room, or they put us together in this room together. So Ted and I, after the festivities, went up tonight. Ted rolls over, starts snoring at about a 90 decibel level. The doors were rattling, and I looked over and said, my God, what's happening here? And anyways, I threw things at him. He didn't stop. I put a pillow over my ears, didn't stop. It couldn't even, it got it down about 10 decibel levels. Anyways, he did that all night long. And I figured, how does his wife go through this? I don't understand this. So anyways, the next night, they didn't have any other accommodations, so the staff gave me earplugs. Well, that took from about 90 to about 60. But anyways, no sleep for 2 nights in a row. They finally found another place for Ted to sleep. I don't know where he went.
I knew what John was going to talk about. As soon as I saw John come up, I started to chuckle. We got to similar thing as John. John, you guys went fishing. That was a nice company fishing trip. This was our church group, and we were going golfing. And as you know, lots of times in these trips, you have to share rooms, just like John and Ted had to. Poor Dan got to share a room with Ted and I. I'm okay that I grew up with Ted snoring, so it doesn't bother me at all. I can sleep through anything. But that's when Ted was starting his snoring, and then he stopped. Yeah, what do you call it? Sleep apnea. When he's snoring away, and then he's and you're waiting for him to take the next breath. And I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm going to sleep. He'll be fine. And it's quiet, and it's really dark. And he's doing this snore, and then stop the breathing, and I think you can count to 10 or 12. And then he'd start up again. It's real quiet. Oh, he does this one more time. Finally, I hear Dan. All of a sudden, I can't do this anymore. I think the poor guy's going to die. He says, I can't do it. He says, I can't go to sleep. I feel if I go to sleep, I'm responsible for him. And if he dies, then I got to have that guilt on me. So Dan got up and sweet-talked his way into I think you got another room, didn't you, Dan? He found another room, and he was out of there. He's, I can't do it. If he's not here in the morning, it's not my fault, he said.
Where do I begin? It's been a total blast. Being married to a real rock star. Move over, Chad Kruger. I am married to a real rock star. Watching you over the years, I have realized how much you truly loved your job. And even the challenges and the many challenges that came along the way. Your dedication, your determination, your work ethic has been truly admired. The many people you hired were not just employees to you, but they became close personal friends. You loved working alongside each and every one of them. All of our children have learned to know the value of hard work by watching you. You are a leader, an example of leadership and integrity. Not only a hard worker, but a great provider. Thank you for all you have done and continue to do for our friends and our family. Ted, I'm so proud of you. It's been 40 great years, and God has truly blessed us. As we dive into this next stage, I'm looking forward to the many more GTs to come. More family time, more family vacations, and more grandchildren. I love ya tons.
Thank you, Father, and thank you all. Thank you, Jan. You're more than a little nuts. Just about everybody asked me, were you surprised? Yes, I was very surprised. I was getting on a boat today after having breakfast with some friends. And I said, well, it wasn't, didn't things seem like a little unusual? I said, well, yeah, my wife was acting kind of strange the last few days, but that's not unusual. She looks pretty good as a redhead, right? I got way too many accolades. I got away pretty easy, I think, pretty gracious on the roasting, and I appreciate that as well. There was quite a bit more material. As my cousin's over there smirking away with Cal Caplet, I got that. Oh yeah, it's happening. So I want to say thanks, my wife and my kids, for all the years of joint sacrifice, I guess you could say, in helping to build this. I was fortunate, unlike quite a few of you fellas, I didn't work out of town so much, but the hours were long, and sometimes the pressure was hard. I don't recall it being quite like that at the time, but I guess you just do what you do and you get it done. I didn't really think we were doing anything special, but this larger group of people, I guess maybe there's some special moments that were in there, and I'd appreciate your recognition of them very much. So, to Jan, wonderful support when I didn't always give you all the support you needed.
We love you, Ted. Ted Carlson, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll just cut off. Thank you for that.
I can't have both of them crying, for heaven's sakes.